right, good Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome to Kent's 5 and the Digital Center. We are looking at live radar and live conditions around the city and across the hill country. We have a couple of thunderstorms that are primarily dropping out west. So like basically between Uvalde, northern Medina County, towards Kerr County, Real and Edwards County. Matter of fact, well, not just, but maybe about 30 minutes ago, a river flood warning was issued for the Guadalupe at Hunt, which is the last place where a flood warning needs to be. But there has been a lot of rain in parts of Kerr County over the last 2 to 3 hours, and that is leading to some high water spots, especially in some parts of the Guadalupe, specifically near Hunt. We'll get to the details in a second, but only minor flooding is expected over the next couple of hours. Matter of fact, most of the heavier rain is now moving out of Kerr County. That is the good news. And some of that is going to move towards San Antonio over the next several hours. So we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But yeah, anywhere south is seeing sunny skies. In the city, it's mostly cloudy, and that'll help with our temperatures for the most part. For today, not forecasting a high of 99 or 100, but with the cloud cover and some rain, only a high in the lower 90s and upper 80s. So not bad at all. Okay, so below me is live traffic. So for example, that's I-37. There's I-35 at Zarzamora. Rotating traffic camera will show Highway 90 at Medio Creek. I believe that's on the west side, right? 410 west of Cherry Ridge. Looking pretty good. Traffic is flowing in all directions, as well as I-35 at Martin. Looking pretty good. Well, that one's a little congested. So if you're driving anywhere in I-35 at Martin, specifically near the downtown area, that's where we're seeing at least some moderate slowdowns at this hour. If you have any questions, comment down below. We're going to talk about radar, temperatures, you name it. And matter of fact, we have several rain chances over the next several days, and that'll help out with temperatures a little bit. Hopefully you get a pretty good downpour at your house or at your apartment and wherever you're located. But right now it's dry in the city. We are looking at a mostly cloudy sky. Temperature-wise, 87 at the airport, 91 at Stinson. Again, a mostly cloudy look at most of San Antonio. Winds are at 6 miles an hour, primarily from like the northeast. So despite that, though, humidity is still pretty high, and that's going to help with the production of a couple of downpours later today. 79 at Bernie, 78 at Bandera, 91 at Pleasanton. So notice like central and northern San Antonio, we're underneath a lot of cloud cover, but anywhere like south of Highway 90, you can see towards like Pleasanton, George West Bevo, that's where they're seeing more sunshine, and that's helping their temperatures to respond a lot faster. So for example, 91 at Cotulla to 78 at Kerrville. Huge temperature difference from the hill country to our southwestern counties. Okay, big story is the radar. There it is, pretty active in our western region. Bandera County and Medina County going to see a lot of rain over the next hour or so, which is right where they need it. We're still in extreme drought in San Antonio. But exceptional drought is ongoing. It's the worst drought in Bandera and mostly in Medina County. That's where they need it the most. So this is good news for Medina County and out west down Highway 90. Zooming out, some light to moderate rain between Kinney County, Maverick County, and Valverde County. Rock Springs seeing some moderate rain out there this morning. Zooming in, I do want to zoom into some of these communities. Again, guys, if you're just joining us, ask away, put your questions down, join the conversation. We'll be live for the next 15 to 20 minutes or so talking about the rain and what you can expect for today, next couple of days as well. So a lot to talk about. So there's the thunder and lightning. So the heaviest amount of rain at this hour at 11:08 a.m., the clock just changed on my computer, is like between Concan, I would say east of Concan, towards Utopia and northwest of Hondo, basically like in northwestern Medina County and northeastern Uvalde County. So there's Sabinal, there's Highway 90, dry right there, but notice, we'll put this into motion, this is eventually moving south. So if you have any friends or family, or if you're watching from, let's say, Highway 90, Hondo, Sabinal area, just know that the rain's probably moving in your direction over the next 15 to 30 minutes. Northeast Kerr County from Ann. Let's take a look at Northeast Kerr County. Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. Let me delete some of this, and we'll take a look at Northeast Kerr County. Mostly quiet in Northeast Kerr County. Between there, Comfort, Highway 87, Kerrville, it's mostly dry. But here's what we were talking about earlier. The river flood warning for Kerr County. It's specifically for the Guadalupe River. Let's take a look at some of the data. Give me 1 second. I imagine probably anywhere from like 1 to 2 inches have fallen. No, that's not what I want to see. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Off air. Okay, so flood warning in effect this afternoon to late tomorrow morning. Minor flooding is in the forecast for the Guadalupe River at Hunt. The main impacts, it's around 9 to 10 feet on the latest observation. Water extends into the low areas of the floodplain, lower bridges on the north and south fork of the Guadalupe along Highway 39. It's a big highway for a lot of folks that travel and commute out there. Between Highway 39 and FM 1341, some of those roads, some of the lower bridges, low-lying areas may become impassable. At 8:20 a.m., so a few hours ago, it was at 7.9 feet. The forecast is expected to rise above the flood stage, but again, minor to at best moderate flooding is expected in this area, and it'll fall and improve later this evening as the rain comes to an end. Flood stage is at 10 feet. I need to look at where it's at right now because it's not giving me a current reading. It just says it was at 7.9. Let's see, let's take a look. But yeah, so we have some rain out there. You have a video shoot for a project tomorrow in Yorktown starting at 4:30 to 9:30, chances for rain, Dylan. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't cancel that. There may be like scattered rain, maybe some isolated downpours between 4:30 and 9:30, but I think it's like anywhere from San Antonio westward is the better chance for rain. So, I mean, I imagine that's a pretty big project, Dylan. So I wouldn't say cancel, but just keep in mind, keep an eye on radar tomorrow. There will be rain floating around, but nothing widespread. That's for sure. For Divine, yes, we'll go to that in a second. And from Stephanie, Port Lavaca, yeah, we'll go to that in a second. Give me 1 second. I need to see what the latest observation of the Guadalupe River at Hunt is. According to the National Weather Service, the latest observation is 7.8 feet. That was at 10:35, and that remains the latest observation. So that's 7.8, which is something I can show you right now. I think this is 7.9. So this will show you a better look at this. So I know ever since the floods back in early July, July 4th, we're always concerned, right? Always about the rivers having an influx of water, rain that could always lead to flooding along the river. So there's the Guadalupe River at Hunt. As of the latest update, 7.8, 7.9 feet. It is forecast to reach 11 feet, so a rise of 2 to 5 feet is possible. But just a reminder, that's a forecast. That may be below the 11 foot or maybe a little bit above 11 feet. Regardless, that is only minor to, at max, moderate flood stage. So I don't think we have much to worry about. But if you are along the Guadalupe between Hunt and Ingram to Kerrville, just know that along the Guadalupe, you may see a brief rise of about 2 to 5 feet. That is certainly possible between now and this evening. And again, after sunset, rain should come to an end, so we're pretty much done with that by tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll have another opportunity at seeing more scattered rain. All right, before we get to that, there's the weather impact alert, afternoon, evening hours, best chance at a couple of downpours. Someone asked about Divine. Let's take a look at Divine. That's southwest of San Antonio. There was more. Divine, you know, what you're seeing right there is just kind of clutter. There may be a sprinkle or two coming out of those clouds. Benny, I know Benny asked that for Divine. But right now, mostly quiet, but there is rain moving in your direction. So that's about, let's see, do we have the measuring tool? Yeah. So the storms are right about there. Divine's about 28 miles away. These storms are probably moving, 15 to 20 miles an hour. If they can sustain their strength, that would put these storms in some scattered activity in Divine along the I-35 corridor, probably by about lunchtime, 12:30. So heads up for Divine. There may be some scattered storms in your area. Also for western San Antonio and eastern Medina County, heads up for Divine, Somerset, Castroville, Hondo, Highway 90 corridor. That's where we could see additional storms fire off as these storms move from the northwest and pushing southeast. Okay, Stephanie asked about Port Lavaca. Let's take a look at Port Lavaca. It's way to our south and east. This is all clutter. There are some isolated downpours offshore, Stephanie, but otherwise pretty quiet along the coastal bend. Main concern is that river flood warning. Again, minor to moderate flooding is expected, but nothing major. That is the good news to put your mind at ease. If you're watching from Kerrville, anywhere in Kerr County, Ingram, Hunt area, most of the heavier rain is now moving out. There will be additional showers throughout the afternoon, but the heaviest amount of rain is now moving across Bandera County, Medina County, and northeastern Uvalde County. So watching that very closely. Looks like all the rain is moving around SA, like always. Amanda, yeah, that's how it is. You know, we have it's called the urban heat island effect. A lot of people talk about that. You know, all the streets, pavement, the entire city just creates a lot of hot air rising, and sometimes that can create a bubble around the city, what we call a cap of warm air aloft, and that can sometimes redirect rain. I've read some of the studies and some of the research behind that. Can it happen? Yeah, but it's inconclusive. So I wouldn't say it always happens like that, but it always feels that way. You know, it always feels like it's raining everywhere else but San Antonio. But I can definitely see that. But right now, yeah, most of the heavier rain is out near Bandera, Medina County, and northeastern Uvalde County. At the moment, nothing severe. There were, a good amount of heavy amounts of rain moving through Kerr County earlier this morning. And again, minor to moderate flooding is expected in that part of the Guadalupe between Hunt, Ingram, and Kerrville. Nothing major, but you may see in that area a 2 to 5 foot rise, which again is only minor to moderate, nothing major, through the afternoon hour. So just watching that very closely, but nothing severe at the moment. Just some thunder and lightning and some localized flooding is going to be the concern as these storms continue to push south and southeast. Okay, so here's the weather impact alert. Again, there's the Guadalupe. Right now, 7.8, 7.9 feet. That's minor to maybe moderate flood stage. 2 to 5 foot rise is possible, but we're going to watch that. Sometimes, that rise is less than expected, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. There's the weather impact alert. Today's forecast, if we get lucky, 93, 94 degrees with a blend of clouds and sunshine. More scattered activity between now and about 6 p.m. Here is it on future radar. Some of that activity fizzles out in weekends, but watch what happens by 2 between San Antonio, Seguin, I-35 towards Pleasanton and George West. More scattered downpours in the forecast. Some of those could be heavy, creating localized downpours and localized flooding. That threat shifts farther south towards like George West and Beeville, and then towards the coastal bend by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning in San Antonio, it's clear, and then we'll have another opportunity at more scattered rain tomorrow afternoon. There's our area. So today, a marginal risk at localized flooding, excessive rain. So it's not going to be everywhere, but anywhere these storms fire off and form into large thunder cells, they'll be capable of producing like 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour, and that can lead to high water spots, especially like on creeks, streams, flood-prone neighborhoods, areas like that. If your neighborhood is prone to flooding fast and you get a quick downpour, that could certainly happen. High water spots on certain streets and frontage roads and things like that. But again, it's not going to be a widespread threat, but the chance at localized, isolated flooding along streets and neighborhoods and roadways, that's certainly possible for today, as the atmosphere is very favorable. It's very conducive for scattered storms. That's why we have a weather impact alert for today. No alert for tomorrow, but there will be more scattered rain for tomorrow, Saturday, and less Sunday and early next week. So we're going to watch that very, very closely. Hello from Atascosa. Hello. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so that is it. Let's see, right there. Perfect. All right, yeah, so there's that weather impact alert, guys. Let's take a look at it full screen. Be weather aware today. Have an umbrella everywhere you go, just in case. Not everyone's going to see rain. It's a 50-50 shot at that happening. Scattered storms for today, very similar for tomorrow, and maybe even into early Saturday, but I think eventually, gradually, the coverage will be more isolated, spotty into the weekend, and then by early next week, mixture of sunshine and clouds and highs right around average in the upper 90s as we close out August. September 1, that next Monday. Not next Monday, but the following Monday in the 14-day forecast. In the meantime, hopefully get some rain. Hopefully it'll cool you off. Hopefully it'll bring temperatures down into the 80s. It'll get breezy. But we have another opportunity at some more scattered storms between now and about 3 o'clock. So keep an eye on radar. Download the KENS 5 app. It is free in the App Store. Any update on radar, severe weather, storms, tropical weather, you can have it in the palm of your hand, guys. It's free. We all love free. And our local team here at KENS 5, the weather team, will have all the updates you need on the weather forecast, on the radar. It is free again. Have a great Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. High temperature of 93 today with more rain chances tomorrow and Saturday. Have a great Thursday. Drive carefully, be safe, and stay weather aware.